Hey folks, it's Sam once again, and coming at you with another Jean-Claude Van Damme movie review, and that is Universal Soldier, Day of Reckoning. Like the previous one, Universal Soldier Regeneration, the thing I hate the most about this film is the story. Now, I will say Day of Reckoning has some pretty damn decent action scenes, little set pieces, and it's definitely rated R. Action set pieces, I mean, you have a pretty decent car chase. You have a really good fight between Scott Adkins and the pit bull in a sports equipment shop where they're using bats and weights. You have a really good scene in the third act where Scott Adkins is pretty much killing all the Unisols, and it looks like it's done in one shot. Killing this guy, shooting this guy, shooting this guy in the head. And it's well filmed. Again, it looks like it's all done in one shot. And it's nice that Scott Adkins is the lead instead of whoever the hell is the lead in Regeneration, because it's not Van Damme. He's only in it for 15 minutes. So that Dolph is an extended cameo. What, the G.I. Joe wannabe? Which, by the way, at the end of Regeneration was cloned and is nowhere to be seen in this movie. What, they couldn't get that guy back? Even though you set it up in your last movie? Oh, he got cloned about 12 times. So this doesn't even seem like it follows Regeneration. And I just don't understand, if you're a fan of the first Universal Soldier film, why you would write and direct Regeneration in this film. Why you would go from, okay, Universal Soldier is an entertainment movie about Luke Devereaux, who is brought back from the dead, and throughout the film he regains his humanity. And instead you just go with a bunch of fucking clones, and oh, Lou Devereaux is controlled, and oh, he killed a family, but then you're like, oh, wait a minute, did he really kill a family? Oh, wait a minute, was Scott Adkins' family just imaginary, and they never existed? Because they want to use, he's another clone, used as a weapon, and just, I don't care for the fucking story. I know you're going, well, it's an action film, but yeah, it's a shitty story for an action movie, and it's especially shitty story, more importantly, for a Universal Soldier sequel. Yes, I understand it's trying to do something different, but just because it's different doesn't mean it's good. You know what else is different? Luke Devereaux going up against a fucking Bigfoot. I know one time Van Damme was going to do a movie called Abominable, where he's like a park ranger or something. I would rather see that. I'm sure a lot of people go, well, that's fucking stupid. Well, I can use the excuse, well, that's different. Because apparently, if it's different, it's automatically good. That seems to be the mentality. Okay, Luke Devereaux versus a Bigfoot. There you go, that's different. It doesn't mean it's automatically a good idea. I'd rather see that than this. And you have certain scenes that, I swear, if you have epilepsy, you will die. You will go into a fucking seizure. There are literally scenes in the movie that you cannot watch the fucking movie because it's so much bright white light flashing that literally you go blind. I literally had to go away from watching it. I literally could not watch it. It was hurting my eyes. This is a movie that actually hurts you physically. Because the director, John Hyams, the same fucking idiot that the last movie, Regeneration, said in a commentary track that, oh, some of the Rambo films like Rambo 3 was PG-13. Yeah, PG-13. See if you can see it. That movie up there above Golden Child, yeah, that was a PG-13 movie. Where a fucking guy gets tipped into a hole, hung, and blown up by a fucking grenade that Rambo pulled the pin on. Rambo 3 is such an underrated sequel, and it gets the fuck out of this sequel. Rambo 3 is awesome. This movie can kiss my ass. And even in the beginning, you get someone an epileptic seizure because it's Scott Adkins, his point of view, waking up, blinking in and out, and he's with his wife and daughter, and he walks in, and there's some people there. They beat the fuck out of him, and Jean-Claude Van Damme kills his wife and kills his kid. So he's a bad guy, but it's like, oh no, his family was imaginary, and even though I think they did a shitty job with some dialogue at the end, because they word the dialogue, at least in my taste, where they make it seem like he had a family originally, but then he got cloned. And I say that because this federal guy, Scott Adkins, saying, you killed my family. And the federal guy is going, no, Lou Devereaux killed your family. And then this guy, Scott Adkins, goes, no, you put him up to it. I'm thinking, well, why are you saying that Lou Devereaux killed your family and you put him up to it if the fucking family is imaginary? Why didn't the federal guy goes, they didn't exist, okay? Your family didn't exist. No one killed anybody. And I say that because I remember the commentary on this one saying the director going, John Hyams saying, oh, he's doing all this for an imaginary family. That's what the fucking director said. Yes, I actually did a tiny bit of research. I usually don't do that. So the director says that it was an imaginary family. But the way they word it in the movie makes you think otherwise. What the fuck? The director says it was an imaginary family. The way they worded in the fucking movie, again, the federal guy going, oh, no, Lou Devereaux did it. And Scott Adkins going, well, you put him up to it. No, none of that happened if it's imaginary. John Hyams is a fucking idiot. In my opinion. If you like the film, that's fine. I should have said that at the beginning. I always say that. But yeah, Scott Adkins wakes up, he's in the hospital. Then the federal guy who sees Adkins says, put the plumber to work. And the piss stain, Andre the Pit Stain, Arlovsky, the plumber, leaves his job. He goes to his bordello, fucks up this bordello. Dolph fights the pit bull. Decent stuff. Definitely R-rated, like I said before. Decent stuff. Dolph hits him with this glass and a little bit of a struggle. Dolph uses some kicks. Stabs him, says you will be freed. And apparently if you get stabbed, then the Unisoul will be not under the control of the government anymore. Instead, he'll be free, but kind of under the control of Van Damme. Which now this Lou Devereaux has a cult of Unisouls that they're going to use for anarchy and to fuck over the government. And Lou Devereaux, Jean-Claude Van Damme is barely in the film. He's in this film less than he was in Regeneration. Once in a while he pops up like a zombie and he's bald. He's pretty much playing the Marlon Brando role in Apocalypse Now. Even to the point at the end where he's fucking got makeup on. Except it's white on top and black on the bottom. I'm like, yeah, I know, I'm a fan of Universal Soldier. Yeah, somehow Universal Soldier The Return is so shitty. Even though it's Jean-Claude Van Damme, having fun, a lot of fisticuffs, a lot of ass kickings, fighting Michael Jai White, kicking his ass, fighting Bill Goldberg, for fun, entertainment. That's so shitty, but a film that literally gives you epileptic seizures, and oh, Lou Devereaux is now... he's a bad guy, but no, he's not really a bad guy. But no, he's just a leader of this fucking cult. And he dressed up like goddamn Colonel Kurtz. What the fuck is this bullshit? Which do you hate, this or Regeneration more? I don't like them both because it's the same fucking director doing his same... At the end, it looks like someone who didn't like Universal Soldier. I would not be surprised if John Hyams doesn't like the first film, or he only saw it once 10 years ago. Again, this is the same guy who thought Rambo sequels. Yeah, Rambo 2 was PG-13. When he took a fucking C4 explosive arrow. Because the guy said, some of the previous Rambo films, like Rambo 3. And he said previous sequels. He didn't just say Rambo 3. So I'm like, oh, you think Rambo 2 was PG-13 as well? C4 tip explosive arrow blowing up a fucking guy to smithereens. John Hyams is a fucking idiot. But his daddy got him a job. And another job. And another job, Friday nights, which I saw that. And that was another big piece of shit. So I'll talk about that later. And you did a really epileptic seizure-inducing scene where Dolph is talking to the pit bull, and then Dolph sort of fades out as Van Damme looking. Literally, it's so much flashing white light that it will hurt your eyes. You will physically be cringing. I don't remember another movie that actually physically will hurt you. Again, if you have epilepsy, you will die. You will have a seizure from this movie. Again, it shows John Hyams how much of a fucking idiot he is. And the rest of the story is about Scott Adkins. Really not much to him. And when I say that, I don't mean the actor personally. I like Scott Adkins. I like him, especially in Ninja 2 Shadow of a Tear. I look forward to what he does next. I love Undisputed 2 and 3. Ninja 2 Shadow of a Tear is my favorite. But the character is really nothing. I mean, really, he goes to his place, he finds a dead body, he finds his matches that leads him to the strip club, he gets hit, he gets stabbed by the pit stain to try to get him to be freed, but it doesn't work on him, just gives him an epileptic seizure as well. Then they throw him out of the strip club. Van Damme sees this girl who I guess knew him, but no, he didn't really know him and knew his previous clone, which we find out. Why do these films have to deal with clones? That's another thing. It makes the first fight in Universal Soldier useless. Because it's Battle of the Titans. You're discharged, Sarge. It didn't fucking matter, because Lou Devereaux is just gonna be this crazy fuck, have pain in his face, and you're just gonna clone Andrew Scott again and again. Clone him for Regeneration, clone him for this movie. So wow, if you could just clone the fuck out of them, the fight at the end of the first movie didn't fucking matter. Fuck these sequels. And yet Universal Soldier The Return did so much shit. At least it is an entertaining, fun movie. Fast-paced. Not like this shit. I'll give you two things. The R-rated violence, and when an action scene happens, it's pretty well done. When the pit bull comes into the apartment and is just brutally throwing Scott Adkins, cuts some of Scott Adkins' fingers off. They're in the bathroom and the girl takes the top of the toilet, not the lid, but the other part of the toilet. It hits over the pit stain's head, and then Scott Adkins takes it and chops the tip of the pit bull's foot off. Again, pretty cool. I wish it was in a better movie, though. I really do. I wish it was in a better movie. This is a well-shot scene. I'm not going to say it's a bad scene. It's not. And you get this Universal Soldier cult where they fight each other, and the stronger one, they want the stronger one. If you're weak, you'll get shot. Van Damme sees this guy, not Van Damme, Scott Adkins sees this guy who's scarred up. That's when Scott Adkins realizes that there's another guy who looks like him. They need to look for this cabin. Then they get into a decent car chase, which then leads to the sport equipment store, where I keep saying, want to say Van Damme. I wish it was Van Damme doing this. And just a Universal Soldier movie where he's out there kicking. Like, if it was, why could it not be Dolph Lundgren, who, if you don't do a fucking clone thing again, have Dolph Lundgren, or hell, have Scott Adkins, or have someone else leading this cult of Universal Soldiers. And then Van Damme is a good guy, still, who goes to stop this cult of Unisouls. And you have these fight scenes. Yeah, Van Damme can't do as much as Scott Adkins, but you can still have Van Damme getting an axe and cutting the tip of a guy's foot off. I've seen Van Damme and stuff. He can still do some kicks and stuff and punches. He can still do that. He's not useless. But no, we don't have this fucking other shit. But I do like the fight scene in the sports equipment store. Because they're using bats. And then Scott Adkins realizes he's stronger than he thought, and he can fight better than he thought he could. Pitbull throws a bowling ball, and Scott Adkins just punches and shatters it. Takes these weights, hits the Pitbull in the face with it. Uses baseball bats, fucks the Pitbull up. Again, well shot, well done scene. The action scenes, when they're there, are well done. I will admit that. But the story is so shitty. The pacing is a problem. You don't really care about any of the characters. The epileptic seizures doesn't help either. What, did you think if someone had an epileptic seizure, they'd make you like your movie more? It's John Hyams. Then they go to this cabin. They find the other Scott Adkins, who, I even forget the reason why now. I guess just he's under the control of Van Damme's cult, that he's going to kill the girl, and so our main Scott Adkins kills him, tells the girl to get out of there. Straight out of Apocalypse Now, goes down the fucking river to this cult where, led by Van Damme, who's painted himself. Then they put him on this thing, oh, you're going to be free. And then these memories of his wife and daughter make him fight and kill everybody. And so I'm thinking, so wait a minute. If this is imaginary and the government did this, is Van Damme the good guy? Is his cult the good guys? Are they the good guys then? Really? And so our hero just killed all of the people who we should be rooting for? Because if the government are assholes and they want to overthrow the government, and then even after Van Damme dies, Scott Adkins is just going to do the same thing now. Lead the Unisouls against the government. I'm thinking, so wait a minute. Does he still not know that he never had a wife and kid? Does he not realize that these are... I mean, they even tell him that those are not real. Your memories are not real. I guess Scott Adkins just thought they were lying. But even by the end, didn't he realize, hey, maybe there's some truth to it, so I better not kill Van Damme because they made me think he killed my family, but I never had a family to begin with. No matter where I look, it's just a shitty story. That I don't care about anybody. If you really think about the Unisouls are good guys, then Scott Adkins did an asshole thing with just a weapon and killed everybody, did a good action scene. But a good action scene doesn't matter if the fucking movie doesn't matter. All you have to do is go on YouTube and watch the action scenes. And go, that's a well done action scene. Too bad the fucking story and the plot and everything else in between is fucking useless. The characters you don't give a fuck about. But the memories break. He kills all. Again, looks like it's done in one shot. Did some headshots, some shotgun stuff, a little bit of machine gun. Yeah, a well done action scene. Wish it was in a better movie with a better plot, better storyline, better everything. Just in this fight with Dolph Lundgren, or I should say the shootout, and then they're both pulling out guns, and how if I want to watch that, I'll watch Equilibrium with Christian Bale, which has a better story, as well as kick-ass action scenes. Shoots Dolph Lundgren in the neck and then stabs him in the head with a machete. Has this fight with Van Damme, which I think was supposed to be more, but I think Scott Adkins tore his ACL. So Scott Adkins tore that. So it wasn't. It was going to be a much more flashier fight, but then it's an alright fight. I'm not going to say it's a terrible fight. It's just I don't care what's going on. Scott Adkins, he thinks his family's real, but really they're not real, and so he's just killing all these Unisouls when aren't they really the good guy? And the pit bull, when he killed the innocent people with the bordello, that was under the influence of the government, not of Van Damme. So in a way, the movie wants to say Van Damme's a bad guy, but if you think about it more, he's really not a bad guy, but because he wants to overthrow the government, who are assholes. But then it's like, well, wait a minute, you just end up not caring about anybody. And it ends with Van Damme letting Scott Adkins kill him, and then Scott Adkins just fucking then becomes the leader of the Unisouls, and then talks to the federal guy, like I said, says, Lou Devereaux killed your family. No, you put him up to it. But wait a minute, I thought that he was imaginary family. So why the fuck would a federal... And then they just have a clone of the federal guy get in and pretend to be there, and... I just watch this, I go, what the fuck? What the fuck? I just had to pause there and just go, why go in this direction? Why? I'm also pausing because I swear I hear sirens. Maybe, see, I heard sirens because someone else saw this movie and they went into an epileptic seizure. So now that siren is the ambulance that's going by to catch them. Oh my god, what happened? You saw Universal Soldier Day of Reckoning. Damn, it happened again. Yeah, those epileptic seizures in that movie are gonna put a lot more people in the hospital. I'm serious about those scenes. There's about 3 of them. So, other than a couple good action scenes, the one-shot take looking action scene in the 3rd act, and fight with Dolph Lundgren's pretty decent. Or I should say the shootout. Fight with the pit bull in the sports equipment shop. And some decent fights. I will say, some pretty good action scenes. Needed a better movie. Better storyline. It just... it doesn't even seem like a Universal Soldier movie anymore. It doesn't. You could have called this Zombie Soldiers. You could have called this fucking The Cult. I mean, you could call this Apocalypse... I was going to say Apocalypse Now too, but that wouldn't make sense. Apocalypse Kapow. I don't understand what John Hyams was thinking. I don't understand why you would do this with Universal Soldier. Just because it's different doesn't mean it's good. Just a shitty storyline. That's really the best way to put it. It's a shitty storyline that then it leads up to really more sequels, which I hope they don't do. I remember when this came out, it was getting a lot of good reviews. Now it's gotten down to a 5.0 on IMDb. So it's almost to the 4s. And I hope it gets lower. So obviously I'm not the only one Because I remember it used to be like an 8 or a 7 point something 9 to be when it first came out. Now it's down to a 5.0. I'm glad. I hope it gets a lot lower than that. I think the first film gets like a 5.9, which that should be a lot higher. But thankfully the first film has a higher rating than shit like this. I'm just really saying the same stuff over and over again. But anyway, I'll just end it with this. Universal Soldier, Day of Raping, the franchise, which got started with Regeneration, or Universal Soldier Retardation, and then Universal Soldier Day of Raping just really put it over the fucking coals. Yeah, this is a shitty storyline. Does not help matters much. But that's just my opinion. So thanks for watching. Take care. I had to do quite a bit of yelling because I hate this fucking movie and I hate Regeneration. I hate the fucking stories. Oh, Luke Devereaux's now dead. Wow. Him coming back to life and regaining his humanity, it didn't fucking matter because he'd be the leader of a cult like Kurtz, and he just fucking die. Bravo, John Hyams. Bravo. I bet you're fucking proud of yourself, you fucking tool. Later.